Welcome to the FitBiz Accelerator, your ultimate guide to launching, growing, and scaling a thriving online fitness business. I'm your host, Tobias Young. And whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, this podcast is packed with actionable tips, real-world strategies, and the insights you need to crush your business goals and build the business of your dreams. Now that you're here, let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the FitBiz Accelerator podcast. I'm your host, Tobias Young. And today we're going to dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship and actually being able to scale fitness businesses with one of the most innovative minds out there. My guest today is Benjamin Jones, who is a serial entrepreneur. He's an international keynote speaker, and he's the co-founder of Titan Marketer. And Ben's helped businesses generate millions of dollars in sales through YouTube advertising, and he has a very unique passion for empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs and his incredible youth in business program. So today, Ben is going to share his insights on how your story and how your authenticity can be your biggest assets when you're building your brand and when you're connecting with your ideal audience. Ben, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Tobias. So great to be here. Super excited to be sharing some cool stuff today. Hopefully we can deliver some value and make it worth everyone's time. So thank you everyone for listening, and excited to be here and share some cool stuff.
Awesome. And Ben, you've had such a fantastic journey, man. Can you share a bit about how you got started in entrepreneurship and what led you to co-found the Titan Marketer?
Yeah, sure. So, I grew up on a farm, so very simple sort of beginnings. My dad had a rule. It was like you either go to uni or college or you get an apprenticeship in a trade or you can't leave the house. So school didn't really jam with my vibe. So I ended up leaving early and becoming a tradesman. And the cool thing with that was good, taught me a set of skills, but I was just stuck in that whole job thing, like you could only ever earn so much. And then a little bit later, we sort of got into business, which was great. It was a way more freeing vehicle. We ended up buying a whole bunch of online businesses. From there, this is going back a good decade or more now. From there, we ended up just moving into a lot of marketing because we realized it was a lot about marketing. We got to a point where we sold a bunch of the businesses and we were pretty comfortable. And, we were really passionate about helping the next generation, my kids, for example. I wanted to save them the whole rat race journey, if they could be free of it before they started, sort of deal, and teach them entrepreneurial skills. And that's where Youth in Business really started. And we've been able to help thousands of kids all around the world start successful businesses, and they'll make sales within the first week. And we've had millionaire teenagers, and they buy houses. And one kid even wrote a book like How I Made More Money Than My Principal. It's a whole thing. It's really cool. So we were really passionate about that and helping the next generation with entrepreneurship. Because at the end of the day, even if you can make a decent living doing what you enjoy, you never have to work a day in your life. So that sort of was passionate about that. And then off the back of that, we were doing some marketing, running our own events, doing our own stuff, and people would come and ask me to speak on their stages about marketing, and that's where Titan Marketer really was born, out of the need of the dramas of Facebook ads and having to move over to Google and getting into YouTube advertising. People were sort of seeing how we did that, and so then we've basically been able to speak all around the world and help thousands of business owners and educate them, and also, do a hands-off solution for them as well, and literally generate people like millions of dollars in sales with YouTube ads and paid advertising. So I guess my two things that I really enjoy are watching businesses grow, and I think there's no faster way to do it than teach kids businesses and or help businesses with paid advertising to really scale. So that's a little bit about the backstory and where I am today.
I appreciate you sharing that, man. And I also appreciate that mantra, because that is the same mantra that I use as far as when you love what you do, and especially when you love the type of clients that you have, you never have to work another day in your life. And here I am, doing what I love to do, making a nice living, jamming with cool ass people, helping fitness coaches grow and scale their business. There's nothing else like it. That's why I say to everybody, have your online business where you have freedom. You can make your own schedule. You can work from anywhere in the world. You bring your laptop, you get your stuff done, and you work with people who you love to work with. So fitness coaches and obviously business owners, they're constantly kind of juggling multiple roles, right? So what lessons from your entrepreneurial journey can help them, I would say, navigate the challenges of building and growing their, their businesses?
Yeah, cool. So look, I think as a coach in particular, and I think we also, a lot of us, particularly the online businesses, end up there in some way. I've been able to create 7-figure coaching businesses outside of the agency and everything. So I fully understand what goes into that. I think that the big thing there is you end up doing a lot of it yourself at the beginning. And I think there's a bit of a gap between, you doing everything and making a couple $100,000 a year, and then you kind of get stuck because there's only so much of you, right? And then it's about building a team, or in my experience anyway, and it's about learning how the systems and the processes and being able to do that. I mean, I did that badly for 5 and 6 years. I think we had about 8 staff, and I swore I'd never do it again, and scaled back to 3. And and then I just had to learn. I had to learn, how do I systemize things? How do I get people to do it? How do I hire correct people? And, from there, I think we have a, full-time staff of 16 people now. I can go on holidays for weeks at a time and the business runs without me. It's a completely different thing, right? And I think they're just all learning lessons along the way. But I think, if you really want to get there, you kind of got to make that compromise. Like, do I just want a couple $100,000 a year, or do I want more than that? If I want more than that, I need people to help me, right? So
yeah, building a team. So yeah, I mean, some coaches love making, 15 grand a month. And they're just like, oh my God, I've never made this much money in my life, because they're used to working an hourly job that, maybe they make 60 or 80 grand a year, whatever it is. And now they're making double that. Right. And then there's other coaches that are like, you know what, I'm not satisfied with this. I want to freaking scale. I want to grow. I want to build a team. I want to help more people. I want to provide more impact. So really it's up to you, how big you want to grow the business, because it's possible either way. You can have simplicity and you can have a successful multi-6-figure business and kind of, 150, 200 grand, a year, or, do you want to scale it and take this, this thing big? So you said that your story and authenticity are your biggest assets. So why is this so crucial for fitness professionals and coaches in general trying to stand out in a crowded online space?
yeah, I think that's a great question. There's just so many people out there trying to be things that they're not, I guess, particularly in the coaching space. And we see a lot of it. We used to, work with people who are like, hey, I'm a finance coach, but they can't afford to pay for their marketing. Or, hey, and you might see it, a fitness coach, but they don't look very fit, right? So I think at the end of the day, if you're going to say, hey, I can do this and I can help people, actually be able to do that thing, that would be my first thing. I see a lot of that. We just refuse to work with them. I think the industry does have a lot of that in it. And I think if you are wanting to be authentic, do the thing, get the result that the person wants. If you're going to be a coach, a fitness coach, whatever it is, I don't care if it's keto or, strength building, or, if your jam is just helping fitness coaches grow or gyms grow, whatever it is, right? Training, make sure you got the outcome first. And then if you only speak about the things that you have done, like I did this and this is what happened, you will find that authenticity is better than saying you should do this, or, that is a big one. And in your advertising, that really matters, because I think a lot of advertising these days really do depend a lot more on results. So if you can show people results, because people just want proof at the end of the day, why should I trust you? If you can say, hey, look, these are the results we get for our clients. This is what we do. This works. We'd love to help you too. It's completely different to, hey, you should do this. This is what everyone in the industry is doing. And I've watched 5 YouTube videos that have told me this is the thing I need to tell you to do, right? They're not the same. So,
yeah, I think we've all seen, people that claim to be able to help people in a particular way, and they kind of are not the proof that they don't basically eat their own food, so to speak. So
correct.
How can fitness coaches effectively share their personal stories on social media, or, through their marketing, in order to be able to attract more clients? What are some different ways?
Yeah, so I think, if you're gonna do it through social media, and it's the same with any sort of video ad, it's a similar thing. What you say in the first 5 seconds really matters. It's the hook, right? So on YouTube, for example, you got a YouTube ad, you got 5 seconds before people skip. So you can have the best content, but if you bury it 20 seconds deep in a 5-minute video, no one's gonna see it. So I would start, the hook is the most important thing. I would start there. What is the hook? The best hooks that we find work with advertising, and, I don't do a lot of short form content as such, but I would imagine it's the same. So just speaking from my own experience there, we've got 12 different hook types that we use. Big benefit would be one, fear of missing out, it's another one, all of those things. The one that we find works best is a rhetorical yes. So for example, do you want X outcome? Or, you're sick of burning money on Facebook ads, or, do you just really want to scale? Like if you can get someone to go, oh yes, that sounds great, and they've said yes in their head, what you say next, they will listen to you if they're interested in it, right? But if you just say, oh, the number one secret or the whatever, you need to have the hook. Like it needs to be engaging for people to actually listen to what you have to say. And I think in today's world, like there's so much content and so many good options for people to listen to. Make your stuff engaging at the beginning, and people will hang around and listen to what you have to say.
But yes, you got to have the hook in there. And the hook for a video is very similar to like a subject line for an email, right? The whole purpose is to just get them to continue to watch the video, which kind of takes them to that next step, which takes them to the next step. If you think about an email, you got to get them to open the email. So if the headline sucks, no matter how good that email is, people aren't going to read it. It's the same kind of thing with video content, or when using, doing anything for your social media. So great point in there, Ben. I love it. And you've helped businesses generate millions through YouTube ads. So what makes YouTube such a powerful platform for fitness coaches to grow their online programs? Because, typically all you do is hear about Facebook or Meta.
Yeah, sure. So I think the cool thing about YouTube, the targeting on it is second to none. The targeting that you can do on YouTube is so much better than Facebook. And the quality of the lead is so much better. So if you're getting crap leads, for the sake of a better word, on Facebook, YouTube leads are way better. And the reason is you can actually target people a little bit differently. So one of the ways we do it is, I think there's like over 4,600, there's definitely over 4,000 different targeting options on YouTube, right? If you're going to start anywhere, like where you want to start is actually with targeting your competitors' traffic. Okay. So what's cool about YouTube is you can literally go get your competitor's website URL or their YouTube channel, put it into Google Ads, and you can target all the people who are visiting that website or watching that YouTube channel. So pick whatever competitor you like. But the cool thing is you literally get to basically retarget them in a way, all your competitors, and come basically show them your ads. And we've done a comparison over millions of dollars worth of ad spend in YouTube advertising. And that is by far the number one highest return on ad spend targeting that you can do. And you cannot do that on Facebook. You cannot do that anywhere else. And the reason that Google knows that is they know where people go, what websites they're on. They've got everyone's Chrome browser. They've got everything's in your Gmail. They literally know more about you than your best friend or your wife, right? Like it's pretty scary. And Facebook doesn't have that. They rely on third-party data they have to buy from elsewhere. So when Apple doesn't update, they freak out. It's just a different platform. And I think the other cool thing about YouTube advertising in terms of targeting is not only can you target your competitors' traffic, which I definitely suggest that you do. The other thing that you can do is you can actually target people based on income. So, if you're a fitness professional, for example, and you're, say, doing coaching, you might not want to deal with people who just are broke and have no money. Yeah. So you want to probably deal with people who have a bit of money and have a bit of stamina to go and do the things that they want to do, right? And afford your products or services and nutritional plans or whatever it is that you're doing. So in that case, that's where you really want to target people based on income. And you might pick a suburb or an area or a state even and just do, hey, I only want to target the top 10, 20 or 30% of income owners, which is super powerful because it takes away that number one objection in your sales process, which is, hey, I love your stuff, but I just can't afford it. And you don't want to have the cheapest product in the space. So if you want to target high quality or high end clients, like that is just a total game changer. And then lastly, the last thing that you can do, or there's other things, but the other big one is target by intent. So being able to target people who are actually searching for the thing that you offer. So let's say that you are a fitness coach or you're looking for personal training or something like that. If I've been Googling personal trainers near me or best fitness plan or best fitness coach or business coach, gym business coach or something like that, and then your ad pops up in a video in YouTube, that's amazing. It's the intent side of it. And that takes away the other sort of problem that you're going to have in a sales process, which is, hey, I love your stuff, but it's just not the right time. So if you combine all those things together, we call it our credit card out targeting. Basically, you target the person that you want, the avatar, all that stuff, the general targeting. Then you layer it by income. So like, does this person have enough money? And then do they have the intent? And the example that I use there is, let's say that you want to target a 35-year-old mum with 2 kids who likes cats and surfing and chocolate and wants a chocolate cake with a cat on a surfboard, right? You could do that and that would be cool. But it's way more powerful if you target the other cake owners that do a premium thing. Then you layer it by, can this person actually afford this cake that's $500? Lastly, is this person even searching for cakes? And then you show them an ad. And I think if you combine all those things together, that's what makes YouTube advertising so powerful over something like Facebook, where you've just got general targeting, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's super powerful. That makes me think about like, why would you even want to do Facebook when you could do YouTube and have so much more targeting and just get so much higher quality? So even if the cost per lead is higher on YouTube, because the leads are so much better, it's worth it. I mean, it's like a no-brainer, And then plus they have to watch so much of the actual YouTube ad before it even charges you, or it won't even charge you, correct?
Yeah. So the cool thing with the YouTube ad side of things is, on Facebook, you charge, I think, every 3 to 15 seconds if you do through play ads or something like that, right? The cool thing with YouTube ads is you actually get 30 seconds, right, before you're charged, depending on how you set up your campaigns. But if you're doing, your standard YouTube advertising, you should be around that 30-second mark, which is really cool. It's like twice the amount of time before you're charged. And the other question we get asked is like, if people skip after 5 seconds, does it cost me anything? And no, it doesn't, right? So if people skip your ads, it's actually a good thing, because it's going to deliver better quality ads in the coming ads to the right people, which is really, really powerful. Basically, I guess at the end of the day, like if you're only being charged for people who are watching 30 seconds of your ads, the cool thing with that is you're actually getting people who are more engaged to actually watch the rest of your ad, which should be around 1 minute to 2.5 minutes before they even click. And you can say a lot more in a 2-minute ad or 1.5 minutes or a 3-minute ad than you can in, say, an image ad on Facebook. But I guess the other cool thing is you can now run image ads on YouTube, which is super cool too. But yeah, so I think it's just in terms of being able to get out in front of people and like the quality of the engagement is just so much higher on YouTube as well than it is, say, on Facebook, and how the money works, right? So
yeah, and I think another thing too, Ben, is people go on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and a lot of them just want quick little entertainment, something little hits, like 15-second. But people go to YouTube to like binge and actually watch, and so it's not like they're just gonna skip through, something. Like they're in there for an intent to be able to learn something. And if you have something that solves their big problem, then chances are, bam, it's going to show to them, and that's going to be fantastic. So that's one of the things too that I love about YouTube, man. And what are the key steps that fitness business owners should be able to take to create compelling YouTube ads that convert viewers into clients? Would it be those steps that you laid out? Is that the first thing they should do?
yeah, so I think that targeting is really key. Like, know who you want to target. That's the first battle. But then having a correct ad that speaks to what it is that you want to sell is important. And I think the big thing you really want to do is have, depending on what your sales process is. So if you're running events, it's different to if you're running, say, an opt-in or a book a call campaign or something like that. So it kind of does depend on what your strategy is to bring it in. Like in most cases, and a good way to think about it is you don't want to sell in your ad. Okay. And that's what we see a lot of like people, first time people do, is they're like, hey, look, come buy my stuff. They've never seen you. They don't know who you are. It's the wrong time and the wrong place. Like you wouldn't go propose to someone on the first date. You shouldn't be asking for the business on the first date either. So what you can do though, is you can offer them something. And this is the key, like provide value, shock horror. So if people actually rock up to YouTube advertising or YouTube as a platform, they're going there to be entertained or educated. They're not going there to be sold. And I think everyone loves to buy, but no one loves to be sold, right? So, and I think that needs to come across in your marketing. And I have a whole thing on the stages of awareness that lines up with this. But realistically, what you want to do is in your ad, you want to solve a problem for them. Okay, so here's the problem. This is the problem that you have. I relate with you. I understand whatever the problem is. So, as a fitness coach, it might be like, hey, are you overweight? You've tried all these diets. They just don't work for you. I totally understand. And instead of selling, you'd be like, look, I've got this really cool way that overcomes all of those problems. If you'd like to check it out, just click here for more information, right? That's not the ad, but that's the summary of it, right? Now, the landing page's job, once they go from the ad to the landing page, that is to give them the solution. Here's my 5 ways to solve whatever problem you have or whatever it is, right? And that's where they book the call or come to the event or join the webinar or opt in for whatever thing you're giving away. But you don't do that in the ad. So don't sell in the ad. Help them with their problem. So this is your problem. I understand you. The solution's over here. Click. Because the whole job of the YouTube ad or any paid advertising in my world is you have to sell the click. So all you're wanting to do from the ad is get the traffic to your website. Your website should do, or your landing page should do the heavy lifting to the next action, whatever that is. So we see a lot of that. We see a lot of people sending ads straight to a homepage, which is like a brochure, which is horrible. So I think just having this sales system set up correctly is half the battle. And then having an ad that literally delivers value. And we usually break that down into like a couple of different parts. Hook, elevator pitch, story, close. Process works really well in terms of just being able to move people through that problem phase and into the solution phase, which I'll have on the website. So yeah, hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does that help everybody? Let me know in the comments if that was helpful.
Sorry, I know that was a lot of info in like one question.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. So let's talk about youth in business. Many fitness coaches are also parents. And how can they use the principles to be able to teach and inspire their kids to develop these entrepreneurial skills? Because in school, they're not teaching you about this stuff, right? They want you to go to college and not be an entrepreneur because, that's the way the whole system's set up. But what would be your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I agree 100%. And look, I'm not going to hate on schools too much. My kids go to school and the whole deal. But if you look at the premise, the history of school, it's basically set up to create soldiers and or factory workers. And it's an outdated system. It's horrible. But if we want our kids to learn entrepreneurial skills, I think that's something that as parents, we need to take on as a home thing. And the argument I get to this is, oh, well, my school teaches an entrepreneurial unit or teaches them about business or something. Every single school I've ever seen or every program that's done in a school basically has hey, let's create like a thing where you sell stuff at the school and everything that you make goes back to the school and you basically just created a non-for-profit. Horrible. Yeah, don't do it. So I think the other thing that we want kids to do is that we want them to actually just go out and make some sales and get some money. Because in most cases, kids aren't actually motivated by money. They're motivated by things. So for example, a 6 or 7 year old, is going to want the new bike or they're going to want the new toy or, a 10-year-old's going to want the Nintendo Switch or whatever it is. Okay. And I think what's really cool is being able to say, right, if you want that thing, let's find a way to make money and you can buy it within a couple of weeks. And what that does is it empowers just kids to be able to, like, if I want something, I can go and get it. There's not a barrier. Like, money's not hard, right? And I think what's really cool, if you're thinking, well, how do I get started? What do I do? We actually do a thing when we're doing our big coaching programs with youth in business, which we're not at the moment. It's just all online. It's called the $20 challenge. So give your kids $20 and be like, hey, in 1 month, I want you to turn that $20 into as much money as you can. And no rules. So there's no obviously they can't do anything illegal. It's like, with this $20, how much can you make with it? And when we first started doing this, we do it in a group setting. It was really cool. I mean, if you're running a youth group or you run a school or something, do this with the kids. It's good to do in a group environment and check in once a week over a 4-week period. And what we found is the first time we did it, like most of the kids would do a couple of $100 off $20, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So, and they'd go and bake things and sell things and mow lawns and all the usual stuff, right? And that was really cool. And then every time we did it, it was like the 5-minute mile. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. I think the record at the moment is over $5,000 in 1 month.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Off of $20?
Off $20. It's mental. And most kids now, because we created something called the 1K Club, so we give them a little trophy and a whole thing, if they do over $1,000 of sales in 1 month. And we've just got a ridiculous amount of names of kids that have done that, right? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And I think that the cool thing with that is once kids know that it's achievable, most of them will do $1,000 in their first month. So I think if you can teach people how to make, even if it's a couple of $100 off $20 and they have that skill set, there'd never be any welfare. Okay. Because the way that making money works or capitalism works is you have to provide value for people to give you money, right? So you're basically teaching kids to provide value and get paid for it, which is an amazing skill set. So I think if we could teach all the kids, if you just did one thing and it was just the $20 challenge with your kids with maybe a goal of getting whatever big thing they want to get within a month period, you literally change their life forever.
Dude, that is deep. I love that, Ben. My daughter is a big Fortnite. She's 13. She loves Fortnite. Yeah, and they want new laptops. Well, they have laptops, Macs and stuff already. But yeah, man, that would be cool. So instead of me I'm going to start making them work for it.
Yeah, straight up. Like all my kids.
Yeah.
All my kids buy all their own laptops, all their own switches, all their own whatevers, right? My son just turned 16. He just bought himself a car, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah, based off all his business stuff that he's been doing. So I think as a parent, it's cool. Like your kids can go and buy the things that they need without you getting involved, and they really become self-sufficient. It actually has the problem of that though is they do have money to buy whatever they want whenever they want, and it becomes a problem. Like one of my sons, we had to be like, right, you can't spend more than X amount on food a week because it's just getting ridiculous, So there are problems to when they have a bit of money as well. But hey, if you're going to have a problem, that's a good one to have.
Yeah, that's a super good one. I love that, Ben. Do you see any parallels between the challenges that youth entrepreneurs face and also those fitness coaches that they encounter when they're building their business? Like, is there certain parallels in there?
Yeah, I think so. It's quite funny. Kids are actually better at business than adults for a couple of reasons. One, they've got a lot of positive feedback, right? I think like if you're a kid and you're starting a business, like everyone's like, yeah, well done, good job. When you're an adult and you start a business, everyone's like, why would you leave your job? What's wrong with you? Why can't you be normal like everyone else, right? So I think there's a lot of that goes on. And I think like as kids, like we can, we haven't been beaten up by life as much as adults. The cool thing with working with kids is they just get out and do it. And I think a lot of adults walk into walls thinking they can't when they just need to go out and take that first step, right?
Yeah.
So I see a lot of that. Like in terms of the differences, you'll be like, hey, go create an email campaign and launch it. To a 16-year-old, they just go and do it. Say it to an adult, oh, I've been busy and things have happened and blah, blah, blah. So I think there is a bit of that. I think a lot of it is more mindset driven, but the principles are the same. And I think the other thing that adults get stuck in is, particularly if they've gone to university or college about business, is they want to create these big plans. They want to have the better plan. And I call it creating the better plan instead of making the better sale, right? And we have a concept in the businesses that we launch called sell it before you build it. It's not a new one, but it really helps. Like if you can make the sales first, you can build the business behind it. And I think a lot of adults in particular want to build the plan before they build the sales, and then they make the sales and the plan goes out the window, right? So I'd probably be like, hey, go and make the sales first and figure it out. So sell it before you build it. And I think that's where kids do really well because they just get out and sell it and make it work. And I think as adults, a lot of adults will do anything else other than go and sell the thing they're trying to build, right? So if I could, say one parallel difference between the two is the willingness to sell it and just give it a go and fail. So as kids, we're way cooler than adults at that.
Yeah, that's great. And I think adults sometimes get conditioned and they start to get limiting beliefs over time. You know what I mean? And so, for example, you have some fitness coaches and fitness business owners, and they want to be successful. And it's just like, hey, if there was somebody that can like literally show them and take out all the guesswork and like literally make their business grow 10 times faster just by hiring the right type of coach that's already been there and done it all out and helped hundreds of coaches. And some people still don't want to do that. And then they're stuck in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. They're still not successful. And all they had to do was like, that's why I was thinking like when you mentioned that $20, just take that $20, invest it in I know it's not $20, but invest it in a coach and you get so much more back because then you get the skill set to be able to grow your business and be able to help more people. And then you don't have to worry about money again. Like once you learn how to make money online, like it's not challenged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And I think, and I was telling my kids this the other day, I was like, look, find someone who's done the thing that you want to do and go pay them, to show you how to do it. You will save years and, forever of money of your time. I've personally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching and learning and all of that. And if you find yourself like a serial entrepreneur or like someone who's done like multiple 7-figure businesses and stuff like that, ask them how much I've spent on coaching or learning something from other people. And the number will probably amaze you, right? Because at the end of the day, like if you invest in yourself, that's the best investment ever. Like you can lose your business. If you can't, people do lose themselves, but it's a much harder process to do it, right? So yes, I'd agree with that 100%. Like, and it's that same thing. Find someone who has the thing that you want to do. And I kind of bash on business schools a little here because it's like, who would you rather get business advice from? Like a professor in business who's never started a business before, but has an MBA? Or would you rather go hang out with, Richard Branson or someone who's literally created billion-dollar businesses for a month and they tell you how to start and run your business? Like which is going to be better? And it comes back to that same authenticity thing we were just talking about before, Tobias, where it's like, do the thing, get the result, then show the people how to do it, right? And yeah, and if you're looking for someone, make sure they have the result that's going to help you get the thing that you want, right? Like it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And, you know, a lot of fitness business owners, they often face the rejection or they face, you know, slow growth in the early stages. So what advice do you have for, you know, being able to stay motivated and overcome setbacks in those early stages?
Yeah, I think, look, everyone's got setbacks and dramas and things. And I think my wife has a really good saying on this. It's like, you know, business owners solve problems. Okay. And you actually get paid for two things. One, you get paid for the amount of value that you deliver into the marketplace. So like, I have a good product and people are willing to pay me for it and I know how to sell it. So I've got a valuable thing. The other thing is it's the ability to solve the problems that come with that. And at every level, there's new problems, right? So you might start off solving like $10 problems or $100 problems. Maybe you work your way up to running some marketing or hiring some people, and then you're solving thousands of dollar problems, right? And then you move up into having a big team and, you know, big budgets of marketing and all sorts of different things and salespeople. Then you're solving tens or $20,000 or $30,000 problems, right? Now, if I gave someone who's solving $1,000 problems like $50,000 problems to solve, they would freak out, could not deal, right? And I think really we just need to realize as business owners there's going to be problems. And if you are feeling stuck and it's hard, that is just part of it, right? So you have to just, and it's probably a little harsh to say, but no one is coming to save you. You have to figure it out. Like get off your ass and sort it out. So I think like that's like no one cares that you have a problem. Just solve the problem already. So, and I think like that might be a little hard to hear, but at the end of the day, if you ask any business owner, I actually learned this in a course. It changed the way I looked at things. It was like most people will go and pay for a business coach to tell them to solve the problem they already know that they have. It was like if you ask any business owner right now, what are the top 3 problems in your business? They can tell you. Like it's not a mystery. It's like, hey, this, and this. And it's like, okay, cool. What are the solutions to that? And they already know, right? So we already know the solutions to probably the 3 biggest problems in our business. We're just not solving that problem.
So true, man. And what's a piece of advice that you wish you can give to fitness business owners that are trying to scale their business and take it to that next level? Maybe they've already hit, you know, 6 figures, but they're looking to take it from 6 to 7 figures.
Look, if you're already at 6 and you want to get to 7, it's going to be a combination of 2 things. One, it's going to be a people thing. And 2, it's going to be like a marketing sales thing, right? Like how do you scale? Like maybe you've already got the people thing and the systems figured out. That's cool. Or maybe you just want to get the sales first and figure out the systems later. You can do either. But however you cut and slice that, if you want to go from 6 to 7, or even from, you know, 1 or 2,000, 100,000 to like 7 or 8, there's a marketing piece that has to happen there. Like you have to be able to get quality leads and convert them at scale. Now to do that, obviously you can use something like YouTube ads or paid advertising. There's a few different marketing strategies that you could use to do that. The one that we like is obviously the paid advertising, because I can put $1 in and I know that it should turn into $3 within a month at a minimum. I think that the power of that is where businesses really scale. Like you look at any multiple 7-figure or 8-figure business, they are spending a ridiculous amount on paid advertising, right? Because they know how to turn that $1 into $3. And if you don't know how to do that yet, that is a skill that's definitely worth unlocking. And, you know, you can go on and have a look at online at some marketing calculators. We have some that you can check out. But I think the main thing that you want to have a look at is like, if I spend $1 here, how much does that turn into in sales? And is that a scalable thing? Because if you haven't figured that out, you're just going to throw money at the wall and hope something sticks. So I think the first thing you need to do if you're going to run any sort of paid marketing is work out, like, if I spend $1, how much should that turn into if I run this platform and this, you know, lead gen to book a call or event or whatever it might be? Like, what does that look like? And I think a lot of people have never been through that experience. It's actually like one of the first things we do is sit people down and be like, hey, if you run ads, it will work. You would be surprised how many people are running ads on systems that just don't work. And then they throw their hands up and go, well, paid ads don't work, because they never sat down to do the math in the beginning before they spent any money on ads. So if you want to scale, make sure that you've got something that scales before you spend money on it, basically.
Yeah, good feedback. Because a lot of people think just like running ads, it's automatically going to equal you being a millionaire, you know, in there too. It's, you got to have the right steps in place. And that's why you get somebody like Ben to help you out.
Yeah, well, if it's not me, someone else, right? But make sure that your math works, right? Like you have to be like, if I spend $1, it turns into 3 at a minimum. And if you're in the coaching and the fitness space, it should probably be 5 or more, right? Mm-hmm. So just FYI.
Yeah. And if there's one thing that you want our fitness coach listeners to be able to take away from today's episode, what would that one thing be, Ben?
Thing that I want them to take away? That is such a solid question. I think probably the one thing I'd want you to take away, and again, it's just based on the things that I do around paid advertising. And I've sort of harped on it about it a little bit, but like, one, if you're going to pay for ads, make sure that you do it in like a dependable platform and or something that can reliably scale. So you can be like, hey, in terms of scale, like I said, if I spend $1 here, it should turn into $3. I think if you went at it with that mantra, and if you sat down with an agency and they couldn't show you that math before you started, or you're working with someone at the moment, that would be something I would fix straight away. And I would ask for a scale plan. Like, if I really want to scale up and get to where I want to go, like, how much do I need to spend on advertising to do that? And they're probably the big takeaways that I think not a lot of people have thought about. And I had a really good call with a coach just the other day, and I was like, man, you're only spending like 10 grand a month on ads. We need to get you to 40 or 50. His mom was just like, oh my goodness. And I was like, well, over the past year, every time we've done this campaign, you've made this much money. If you spent more on that, and we can definitely do it, you would make 10 times more. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They have some marketing piece that's working already, but they just want to spend more on it. They need a proper plan around that to do it. And I think that's probably the one takeaway. So whoever you get to do it or whatever it is, sit down and work out that plan, because that's where the scale happens.
Good advice. So if everybody's listening, listen to this advice. These are the gems that are being thrown your way. So, Ben, this has been an incredible conversation, man. And your passion for entrepreneurship, for storytelling, empowering, the next generation, it's so inspiring. So I just want to thank you, first of all, for your insights with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And where can listeners be able to connect with you and learn more about Titan Marketing?
Sure. So the best place, like obviously my name of Ben Jones, if you Google it, there's 1 million Ben Joneses out there. So I'd probably just Google Titan Marketer, ER, or Titan Marketing, Titan Marketer. And you'll be able to see, we've got heaps of free giveaways and trainings and all sorts of stuff just to help people out, calculators and some of the things that we talked about. So if you want to check all that out, that's all there. That's probably a great place to connect. And yeah, all the links to my socials and everything will be there as well. If you wanted to learn anything about youth in business, again, just Google youth in business and it'll pop up. So, and look, hopefully I've been able to help and serve the listeners in some way today. Thank you, Tobias, for having me. It's been super fun. And yeah, wish all the fitness coaches out there the best in growing and scaling their business.
Yeah. And I'll put the titanmarketer.com. I will make sure to include that in the summary for the podcast in here. And yes, I appreciate it, Ben. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. And if you found value in today's episode, don't forget to click that subscribe button, leave a review, share it with somebody who needs to hear Ben's message. But until next time, keep chasing your dreams. And I want you to build your fitness empire. Take care, everybody. And tune in. I think everything. Awesome, dude. Good episode. That was fun, Ben. Good jamming with you, man.
Thanks, man, for having me. I super appreciate it. And
yeah,
hopefully there's some useful stuff in there for the listeners.
Yeah, for sure, man. And so like on the bottom, you want me just to send them to your website? Is that the best place? Just Titan Marketing?
Yeah, that's fine. I actually do all these the podcast interviews. My team books me in because I just, suck at creating content, or I don't make the time for it really. And obviously, because you have paid ads, they want some online presence. So I do a few podcast interviews. So I guess for us, it's more about like how we can help you as well. So when you upload it, whether you do it like YouTube or Spotify or, iTunes or wherever, let us know and we'll post it on my socials with the link back to the full episode of the podcast.
Cool. Yeah.
So if you have I don't know how your team does it, but if you have cut up pieces, or we can cut up some pieces or something like that. But yeah, we're happy to post them and send links back to wherever you need them. So just let us know where that would be.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. It's the FitBiz Accelerator. We're on all the platforms. So Apple, Spotify, all those. And then we'll chop it up for you too. So we'll chop up the podcast and send you a bunch of
bits,
shorts and reels that you could use. Feel free to tag me, or if you want to collab on Instagram, do you know how to do collaboration on Instagram?
Yeah, my team does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so that way we can, push each other up and just start to do that. So yeah, be happy to do that. So yeah, be on the lookout. As soon as my team actually chops everything up and goes in there, be happy to, I'll send that over with an email with
all the bits.
All the cut up pieces, man. And thank you, dude. And like for YouTube ads, do you guys have, is it only like a pay? Do you guys have like a
Yeah, how's it work? So I mean, we used to do coaching and consulting, like a lot of it, like teaching actually a lot of coaches how to just run YouTube advertising, because we have a lot of success with coaches, and coaching is kind of my background. But I think the last year or two, we've just moved to just straight agency, because we know that the people we work with get serious results. Like we got like a 90% retention rate over a 12-month period of anyone who stays more than 2 months, which is unheard of. So we're pretty happy with those. We're by application only. We don't work with everyone, because the first thing we do is we actually run the math on their business to make sure it's going to work before we take them, which is a bit different. So that's kind of a little bit about us. We do have like a affiliate commission thing with people who come through. We can do 10% off their agency commission, or depending if they're sending a few, then we can be negotiable on that. The other thing that we do is if you send us 4 people that become clients, we'll work with you for free, which is cool.
Nice.
Or we usually find what happens is people become clients and they find 4 friends. So that works.
Yeah.
So we do that. But I guess at the end of the day, we're kind of just more just straight agency, just come in and do it for you. The other thing I didn't talk about on the podcast, which I probably should have, was we do one thing that we do help people with is grow their YouTube channels and things as well with paid advertising. Cool thing about YouTube is like for like $30 or less, probably $20-$30, you can get like 1,000 really good engaged views on YouTube around whatever keyword or video that you've got. And then we run ads to people who watch your content, which is amazing. So that's probably something that people could have done, just run some simple cost per view campaigns or search-based campaigns around their content pieces to help grow their channels if they have channels. Yeah, so we do a sort of a strategy, depending on the coach, whether they want to grow their exposure on YouTube or their podcast, or whether they want to just get leads and sales calls booked for sales teams or running events. They're probably the 2 big ones that we do, is like book calls for sales teams and or events, filling virtual or live events. So yeah.
Okay. Yes. And then, because a lot of the fitness coaches that I work with are on the newer side, so I'm not sure. But what's the approximate, what does it cost for if somebody wants to work with you?
Yeah, so we start off at $3,500 a month. So in that first month, though, we actually build out the whole thing. So everything from a brand new landing page. So basically landing page, we script all your ads, we get all your ads shot. So it's all your videos done, all your scripting done for your scripts. We build out a full landing page or funnel, depending on what it is, whether you're doing events or book calls or whatever. We get our copy team to sort all that out. And then obviously we do all your targeting and set it all up. We have your campaigns running within about 2 weeks, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And then you should be making sales or definitely getting leads within the first week or so of running ads. Most coaches, if they start off, if they're just getting started out, we usually say you need at least $1,000 or $2,000 ad budget, which will take them to about the $5,000 for the first month. But if we can get them 2 clients, usually that all pays for itself and away they go. So, and then it's just about scale. It's just about, well, how do we get more of that? So, so that's kind of the approach that we work at, and usually we'll throw down a bit of the budget on engagement or their YouTube channel or their whatever to increase their subscribers and their following and all of that, and then it all just works on itself. Yeah,
that's cool, man. And YouTube is definitely, it sounds like it's the way to go over Meta even.
Yeah, it's so much better. Like for our coaches and before a lot of our clients who are spending sort of 30 to 50K or more a month on ads, what we find is those sort of people are already spending 80 or 90% on Meta. Within a 2 or 3 month period, we've actually got 80% of it in YouTube. The lead quality is doubled. And we just use Meta for retargeting. So we actually will do the Meta as well, but the transition across from one to the other is pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah. Nice. That's fantastic, man. Well, then, yes, I will keep it in the loop, because I do have people that are sometimes come to me and they're at the higher level mark. Usually when I'm getting the new coaches, they're starting off and they can't even barely afford me, like most of them. Yeah. And my program's only $1,000 a month. So, but then once they get to that level, then if they're ready to be able to kind of scale, then that would be something maybe to just be able to shoot them over to you or something like that.
Sure. Oh, that's cool. Look, if there's anything that I can help you with, let us know. Even if you're just like, hey, look, I've got this thing, like just for yourself, even like, hey, how do I do this bit or that bit or whatever? Just shoot us an email. Happy to help. Just be like, hey, go do this and do that. I think one thing I definitely recommend is doing some cost per view campaigns around some YouTube channels and stuff like that for your podcast and things.
Mm-hmm.
You only need to spend like $20 or $30 a week, and it'll make a big difference. But you don't need us to do that, right?
How to do YouTube ads, but and then I have somebody running Meta ads for me, but she doesn't know how to do YouTube. I don't think she does YouTube. She just only does Meta.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking twice about Meta, because the leads that come in are kind of like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, because we tried this like chat campaign, and there's some cool stuff you can do. Obviously, Instagram chat campaigns and stuff are really cool, but sometimes you get just, the lead quality is not always the best. So,
yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate everything. It's always good jamming with you, Ben. And if there's anything that I can do to support you in the future too, let me know. And if I have somebody that maybe would be a good fit to work with you, should I just give them your email? Should I send them to just Titan Marketer?
Yeah, just introduce them by email in the support. So it's like, hey, just a support email to the email that you've got. Just be like, hey, Ben, it was great on the podcast. I've got my friend Susan who's interested in YouTube ads, blah, blah, blah. And then my team will flag that. And then if they do come on as a client, we can pay you the affiliate commission and everything. Yeah. So I think, at 10% a month, it'd end up being like, what is it, 350 at a minimum a month ongoing for as long as I stay a client.
Yeah, it's nice. But I just love helping out other people that I know where they would be taken care of. More than anything, more than getting money myself, is like, if I can take care of this person and I know they're in good hands and not like crappy, because there's some obviously crappy people that run ads.
I hear you. We see them all the time. So probably I would say a big chunk of my business is, hey, look, we ran this and it didn't work. Can you fix it? So that's cool. And likewise, man, thank you so much for having me. I super appreciate your time and sharing your channel with me. And if there's anything that I can ever do, just let me know.
Cool. Will do, Ben. Thanks again, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, bud. See ya.
Okay. You bet. Thanks for tuning in to the FitBiz Accelerator. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a tip or strategy to grow your online fitness business. And if you're ready to fast track your success, don't forget to check out tntfitprocoaching.com. Until next time, stay consistent, stay focused, and keep crushing it.